Hi, my name is Scott. I'm with eSpecial Needs. Today we're going to discuss how to pull measurements on a deep pressure or a weighted vest. So to do this appropriately, you'll want to make sure that you have a soft tape measure so it can easily bend around the student's body when doing the measurements. I would also recommend you have the student in a seated position because when you do sit down, typically your waist gets a little bit thicker and spreads out, and you want to make sure that it's appropriate fit so when the child is standing or sitting, it's going to fit them and be comfortable at the same time. So to start with, you're going to take the tape measure and you're going to measure around the student's waist at the belly button line all the way around and make note of that measurement. Second, you're going to want to measure around the chest at the nipple line and measure all the way around the circumference and make note of that measurement as well. Finally, you'll want to go ahead and take a shoulder length measurement, measuring from the top of the shoulder down to the top of the hips, and make note of that measurements. When you're measuring the shoulder length, make sure not to bend the tape, make sure it's straight so it doesn't exaggerate the length of the body. Most of the measurements you're going to be referring to, though, will tie in with the circumference more so than the length. So make sure to refer to that when you're looking at the measurement charts. One thing to keep in mind with the weighted vest and the deep pressure vest, the vests are not typically designed to extend down much past the waist or the top of the hips. The reason for that is, especially with a weighted vest, is when the student sits down, the weights would go onto the child's lap. And that's exactly what you don't want to have happen, because when the weights go onto the lap, they're resting there and then they're not able to benefit from the joint compression of the weights pulling down on the shoulders themselves. So it is important to make sure that it does just go down to around the waist or the top of the hips so that they are actually getting that weight benefit throughout their entire upper torso. For the deep pressure vest, while it isn't quite as critical because there's no weight in it, you still do not want to have it too long because then it's not going to fit tightly around the body when you pull the back flaps and tighten it up around the torso. For the deep pressure vest, when you fit the vest to the body, you have to remember that the back of the vest actually has Velcro on the entire back of it. That allows you to take the flaps at the shoulder and the two flaps on each side of the torso and tighten those up around the body. Typically, once the vest is on, you're going to want to be able to get at least a finger between the vest and the body. And if you can't quite get that in, then it's probably too tight. If you can get more than one finger in, it's probably too loose. You can also talk to the student and get feedback from them and see if they're telling you that if it's uncomfortable or if it's comfortable as well, and then adjust the vest accordingly. So that gives you a good overview of how to pull measurements for one of the vests. If at any time you have concerns about how the measurements are done, or if they have special needs that need to be addressed for the student, feel free to call our customer service line at the number below, and we'll be happy to help you out with any questions and walk you through the entire process. Thanks for contacting us. Have a great day.